For this video, we're going to be talking about people at work and the shift in the type of work that people have. So in the industrial age, which we're moving out of, people would go to school and then they would move into their main career, and they would probably be in that career for their entire working life. They work for one company. It was usually a medium to a large company. Very few people worked from home. There was a high job security because you would have one skill and you would do it at this company, and that kind of secured your position in that company. And the number of years or your seniority there really determined your success. We're moving more into the information age, which is a bit of a shift in the type of work people would have. So as opposed to having one career, people are moving in and out of careers. They're constantly being retrained, developing new skills. So they're no longer sort of that one skilled worker. They're going to have many jobs throughout their career. They often will work for small companies or be self-employed. A lot of people in the information age are working from home. It's contract work, so you are hired for a specific job that might last a certain period of time, and when it's over, so is your job. And your success is determined based on your performance and your adaptability. So moving away from just because you've been there for a really long time doing the same thing doesn't mean that you get to continue doing that. So there were different industries that the population was involved in history, and they sort of had their peaks, and then it transitioned into a different type of industry. So the agricultural era really hit its peak in the 1800s. A lot of people were working on farms and with mining and farming, and so in the 1800s, about 80% of the population was working with agriculture, and then at that point it started to decline. The industrial era had its peak right in the 1900s with around 50% of the population moving from that agricultural to that industrial, and then it started to decline. The service industry really hit its peak in 1975 with, again, 50% of the population, and then it started to decline. And then the information age, which is where we currently are, took over 50% of the workforce in 2000 and has steadily been on the incline since then. Now, what pushes industry and what determines whether or not a business does well or it declines? It has to do with trends. Basically, the patterns or the behaviors of the people and how they use and consume products. So right now, there's a lot of technology trends. So thinking about how people use their technology. Technology moved very quickly. We went from making cars to making airplanes to making spaceships and landing on the moon. We think about how we shop and communicate with smartphones. So those trends in technology really drive industry and drive those companies of where those jobs are going to be to meet those needs with technology. Then there's social trends. How do people behave? How do they consume? So we think about Netflix, for example, and the shift to watching Netflix over watching traditional television. That is a trend, and industries need to adjust to that trend, or they will be unsuccessful and they will collapse ultimately. Economic trends. So you think about the global economy. No longer are countries responsible for making all the products themselves. There used to be a time where all car products, if you made a car in one country, all the parts would be made in that country. Now, because it's a global industry, you can make some parts here, you can order some parts from other countries where it maybe costs less and the resources are available. So there really is sort of this trend in the global economy as well that pushes industry. Demographic. So if we think about those population pyramids, industries will look at those population pyramids, and if they realize that a lot of their target audience or the people where their consumers where they're going to make their money are of a certain age or a certain gender or a certain time in their life, like they just became parents or they're entering sort of retirement, that can influence industry because it wants to meet that demographic and benefit from the wants and needs of them.